Teaching a kid to write with his non-dominant hand, 9 out of 10 couldn't do it. Your brother's top 10 percentile.
It's difficult because I was trying to teach myself to write with my left hand, and
Why?
because I'm rebellious. And
Look at me, Grandma.
yeah, just
Let's sign Maggie up for the Bad Girls Club. She's
hell yeah.
Everybody else is drinking and sucking dick. She's over here writing with her left hand.
Welcome to another phenomenal episode of My Mama Told Me,
The podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally worked to prove that Teddy Riley is in fact owed a check by the Zoom Corporation, being that their entire platform is based on his 1993 hit Rump Shaker.
Yep, there it is. I'm your host, Langston Kerman.
And I'm your other host, David Boring.
And we couldn't be more excited. What a time, David. What a joy it is to be here today.
What a time to be alive.
A time to be alive. And I do agree with you. I feel like Teddy Riley is owed something. There's no way they came up with Zoom on their own.
You think a bunch of nerds, a bunch of computer nerds, knew to call it Zoom? They were watching Rump Shaker.
Yeah, they were sitting in their shit offices because they didn't have good offices by that point.
No, they were in a WeWork. They were in a WeWork in Queens.
And you know what? I'm not even going to give them credit. They weren't watching Rump Shaker. They were in that WeWork in Queens, and then whoever was running that WeWork played Rump Shaker over the loudspeaker, and they were like, one of them was like, hey, I got a fucking good idea.
Yeah.
After we pay off this WeWork bill, I got a plan for solving our problems.
Yeah, the other nerd was like, I love the saxophone. That's what he thinks. That's the first thing he heard in Rump Shaker.
Piece of shit, Zoom Corporation. We'll never forgive you.
I thank you for your platform so I can make money now, but, you know.
Yeah, but, you know what you did.
You know what you did. Give Teddy his check. Give him his check. Mr. VA all day.
You know who I assume gets all of her checks and probably is rightfully credited on all the things that she does is our guest today. Yes. I feel like she probably is coming up with a lot of brilliant ideas of her own brain and not at WeWorks. I think she probably does it in her own home, I would imagine. But she's a lovely guest. She's a fantastic comedian, hilarious. You guys know her from her work on Conan. You know her from her work in The New Yorker. She's so funny. Please give it up for our guest, Miss Maggie Maye.
Yay! Woo!
What up, dog?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. Have you come up with any multi-billion-dollar ideas?
I have a few.
Okay.
I have a couple of them, and just get ready to run me my check when I put them out.
Yeah, no, I don't like to say them either because you drop the idea, and then next thing you know, everybody's wearing Gucci sweatpants or whatever was my idea.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a feeling that might have been you that did the Gucci sweatpants.
It combines my two loves, luxury and sweat.
Wasn't that a Nelly album? Wasn't there a
Sweat and Suit?
Oh, because, Sweat and Suit.
Because
Excuse me.
There's two different Nellies.
You know how you always associated Nelly with suits before this.
It's Sweat. He seems very athletic. I bet he doesn't sweat a lot at all.
No. Maggie, I know none of this has anything to do with the conspiracy theory you came to us today, but I'm very excited to dig into it. It might be, I'd argue, maybe one of the vaguest conspiracy theories we've ever dealt in. Truly, it means nothing, but also I think has such a large, powerful meaning. So I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this. You said, my mama told me
the left hand is bad.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
It's just, there are so many different, I wouldn't even say conspiracy theories. I'd say superstitions surrounding the left hand. And I talked with my siblings before coming on because I was like, what exactly, like, remind me all the different stuff that we heard as kids and all the different things. And the one that kept coming up was left hand. Like, I know that the left hand in general is just unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, let's wash your mouth. Some of us are left-handed here.
well, I mean, it's not encouraged. Like, my brother's left-handed, but he's now ambidextrous because they heavily encouraged him to use his right hand.
Whoa.
Well, my grandma did.
So your brother was using his left hand, and then your grandmother, I think you said, was coming in, and what was she doing to encourage this?
Just really encouraging him to, because he like favors his left side. Like, he plays soccer, he favors that side and everything. And so they had him learn to write with his right hand as well. So, I don't know if it was like, this is the right hand to write with or whatever, but they just like really discouraged him from like using his left hand. Nowadays, like, he uses both, but like, it was kind of a thing that they didn't really want him to be a lefty, because that's just, and he was the one who told me, he was like, apparently if you pay somebody with your left hand or you receive money with your left hand, that means you're being dishonest.
Whoa.
Is this a Texas thing or a Nigerian thing?
I think it's a Nigerian thing.
I assume.
Yeah, because I didn't grow up around a lot of Black people. It was usually just me and my family who were the Black people in the school. So like, there wasn't anybody that I could go and ask, like, hey, I knew the white kids weren't going to get any kind of specialized education in conspiracies or anything like that. They were just going to let that shit happen. But
I have to assume there's also something dangerous in being the only Black person, and you go, hey, is this a thing at y'all house? And they go, no, nigger, that's a y'all thing. And now it's a Black thing for a bunch of white people that didn't previously know you were doing shit.
And now they all think we're not left-handed.
Yeah.
All the white kids were like, absolutely not. And then I met Black kids later and they were like, absolutely not.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So I'm left-handed and they tried to teach me to write right-handed. So I feel it didn't work because I'm stupid, but I feel for your brother greatly. Is your grandma like, did she ever explain why? Was she like, oh no, don't write with that hand because then you'll never get married or something?
I mean, I'm sure she explained to him, and I guess he just did it because he's a kid, and my brother's like hella smart, so he could just figure anything out that he wants to. But like,
yeah, he's not a dum-dum like you, Bori. He can figure it out.
Listen, is your whole family right-handed? Like, what's the percentage of left-handers in your family?
My brother's the only lefty.
And then how many are there of you?
It's 5 kids and 2 adults.
Yeah,
very Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
How many doctors?
Just my dad.
Oh man. Is everybody else doing something cool science related or achievement related, I guess is a better way of saying it?
Yeah, like my sister and her husband's a doctor, and so they own a bunch of freestanding emergency rooms. And then
like urgent cares?
Yeah. Or I think they're actually like freestand, because he's an emergency room doctor, so they're like freestanding emergency rooms that you could go to. And I think a lot of them are in like towns in Texas where the hospitals are not that,
Oh,
right.
So it's like, if they've got the one hospital and that's all you can do for an emergency, then at least have like a freestanding emergency room so you have an option. Or
that
you
makes
can
sense.
Go somewhere.
I didn't know that it was possible to have a freestanding emergency room until you explained it that way. Because otherwise it just sounds like they had like trucks, you know what I mean? Like food trucks, but you could get your liver fixed.
Like a wambulance?
Yeah, there you go. You get it.
Driving around, who's hurt?
I was imagining just like a tent in the park where you could go if you like were breathing funny.
Yeah.
Come on in. We got lemonade.
Like a real freestanding kind of
situation. Yeah. No walls.
Like emergency room pop-up.
Yeah. And then the police come by and they're like, hey, move it, buddy. And you're like, I'm literally saving someone's life. Nah, you got to get out of here.
Just sewing someone up. Do you have permits for this?
Okay, so success is in your family, but not necessarily
Yeah.
everybody being doctors. Do
Yeah.
you still believe, or did you ever believe, maybe that's a better way of framing this question, did you ever believe in your grandmother's suggestion of the left hand being bad?
Not really, because there were a lot of other little superstitions and whatnot that I don't know if they were Nigerian specific or if it was just my family decided we were going to come up with a bunch of stuff. But like, there were other things that I was just like, there's no way that, there's no way this is also true. Like, there's one that, like, if you're sitting on the floor and someone steps over you, it's supposed to stunt your growth. And I was just like, not likely. So
That is
the likelihood that this and the left hand thing is true is like probably not. I mean, well, come to think of it, like it is more unlucky to be left-handed because the world it's a right-hander's world.
Who you
So
telling?
left-handed people unfortunately die more because like if
Whoa,
you're
wait,
using
whoa, what?
yeah, there's like a higher because like if you're using a chainsaw,
we die as much as right-handed people.
No. Look it up. It's like easier to like get into an accident and die if you're left-handed because the world is like set up for right-handed people. So like if you're using a chainsaw, it's likely to be a right-handed chainsaw. And so if you try it with your left hand, there's like a little bit of a difference and a little bit of a it's a little adjustment
for the listeners at home. David is currently trying to mime a chainsaw.
I've used a chainsaw before. I'm just trying to think about how it went.
Did you do it as a lefty? Were you doing it left hand dominant chainsaw?
No, I feel like I held the guard with my left hand and I pulled the choke with my right hand.
That seems right hand dominant.
That's what I'm saying. And now, see, that's how they get you, brother.
Uh-oh.
I didn't even know.
Well, that's how they get you.
Uh-oh.
I'm so indoctrinated, I didn't think there was a better way to change. Because now I'm like, in my head, I'm like, if I had to chainsaw how I wanted, I would use this hand here and pull it with this hand.
Yeah.
But then where would that be situated with you? Like, would you be able to pull it with your left hand and it be like still straight? Or would your right hand still be able to hold on to the other thing? Or would it be like more precarious where you could,
it's all
slip
bad.
over to one side and see your leg off?
It's all bad. Also with guns, the safeties, it's for right-handed people. You're not supposed to shoot, except for Glock Gen 5s. They're ambidextrous.
But it breaks my heart to think that you could be one of the greatest chainsaw champions in the country were it not for the failures of our education system and frankly chainsaw producers.
I could have been one of the greats. Paul Bunyan, fucking John Henry, David Bory. I could have had my jersey in the rafters.
Yep. We all heard all those John Henry stories of him with the chainsaw. The guy who refused to use modern technology loved the chainsaw.
Right. John Henry was the one who beat the train machine.
Yeah, he just used a sledgehammer.
I'm sure there was a black chainsaw man.
Oh, there's got to be a black chainsaw man out there. And if you're a black chainsaw man, we would love to hear from you. Please send all of your updates to mymamapod@gmail.com. Truly, we don't even care if they're conspiracy related. We just want to know that you're doing all right.
No, if you're a black chainsaw man, I'm looking to offload some money anyways. I will support you in the chainsaw games. I've seen them on ESPN3. I know they're real. I've never seen a black guy. Let's, hit me.
Yeah.
So do you mean like a chainsaw man, like John Henry style? Like they go and like have him go against a chainsaw just with two axes or something?
No, you never seen the Timber Games on ESPN4? You've never been like you never been depressed at a Best Western?
Yeah, it's always like two real thick men battling it out over who can chop wood faster.
Yeah.
Like lumberjack games.
Yes,
exactly.
Where they're like running on a log and seeing who can fall off first.
But then sometimes they have to chainsaw stuff and then they have to like chainsaw very strategically to make a tree fall down or to like to do cool stuff. So yeah, I think Bori could have been one of the best.
I think so. I got
I would
big
love
shoulders.
to see a black person do that. I feel like we would wreck shop with that shit.
I have a feeling, and this is pretty racist, I feel like we're the best at all the sports. We just haven't figured out all the sports yet.
Whoa.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you gave us all the sports, like, we're the best ninja warriors. Black people just aren't ninja warrior and like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does to some extent, but then I think about like the way Asians dominate like gymnastics and cool flips and shit. And I don't know, they're naturally sometimes a little more petite than us, and I just think they're gonna win.
What about
games.
Simone Biles?
Sure, all right, she's the best ever in the field. But I've been to what's that, Shen Yun, and that
You've been to Shen Yun?
Yeah, I didn't want to go, but my mother-in-law really wanted to go, and it turns out it stinks. Anybody that's curious about Shen Yun, it's a real stink show. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Oh man, I wanted to go. I was like, one of these days I'm gonna put down $60 to see some people do some of those jump kicks.
No, don't go to Shen Yun, y'all. It ain't worth it.
Oh, I thought it was a play.
No, I mean, it kind of is. It's a series of plays, and then there's a Chinese person and a white man who sort of like come in between and give you like historical information about each of these stories that they're telling. And it just
an
keeps
educational play.
It feels like, you know, when it feels like when your school has like an assignment that you have to like both be watching a play but also taking notes. It's got that energy the whole time.
And is there a Shen Yun? I thought that was a guy.
Oh, is that Shang Tsung that you're thinking of?
I might be thinking of Shang-Chi of the Golden Rings.
Oh, yep. That's the guy, too. There's a few guys with Shen-type bases that... Ooh, this episode really went off the rails fast.
I'm sorry. Left hands.
We started talking about sports and somehow got real bigoted about a minute and a half later. Before we go to break, Maggie, I feel like this is an important question. Your brother was trained to basically embrace his right hand. Do you think any part of him now believes some of what your grandmother said? Is anyone in your family sold on the possibility that there's something bad about left-handedness?
I mean, no, because now he writes with his left hand. So, like, if there was any, I think it was kind of a thing that he might have been doing just to like give lip service. But I don't think any part, I mean, he was still left side dominant. Like he's still dominant in soccer with his left foot and like everything. Like even if he's not writing with his right hand, if he's going to catch something, he's going to catch it with the left. So,
right.
So he was really just being respectful to your grandmother as like the matriarch of your family.
Exactly. And I think when you're a kid, you don't know.
He was left in the streets.
But I think like when you're a kid, you don't really know. You're like, okay, is this a bad thing? Let me get on this side and like kind of see if,
Right.
Yeah. I think in some ways, and I have to assume this also was a challenge, is like as a black person growing up in a predominantly white space, you don't need more reasons to like stand out. And I have to assume that it also became easier to just be like, nah, I can write like the rest of y'all and not feel at all sort of like threatened by being the weird outsider in this space.
I guess so. I guess it was like a modicum of that. But like thinking back in school and stuff like that, well, I guess I wasn't raised I wasn't raised predominantly in a culture that like thinks that or believes that or whatever. It's just like what I heard from the home. But like I never noticed who's left-handed and who's right-handed in class. Like That was nothing that I ever found important or
Oh, I
like
did. We shot those
Really?
kids with paintball guns.
See, that's why it's more dangerous to be a lefty, because Langston's out here shooting people.
I like that Langston started this episode like, no, this one is so vague. I actually have no idea about any type of discrimination on the left. And then 20 minutes in, he's like, I used to kill them.
We murder those kids in the street for being filthy strangers.
Once again, I am left-handed.
And wait till I see you in person, big dog. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Maggie Maye and more My Mama Told Me. And we are back.
Give me a turn to speak.
Yeah, we're back here with more Maggie Maye, more My Mama Told Me. We're still talking about the possibility that left-handedness, a left-handed person is somehow bad. The left-handed self is bad in society. Did you feel like you ever witnessed outside of your home any evidence of this being true, other than all those dead left-handed people that you apparently
killed.
were walking past every day?
A couple of times, actually. I remember I was maybe in an argument or something with a friend of mine, and then like we had, I decided I wasn't mad or anything, and I like extended my hand to him, didn't think which hand I was extending, and he is like, not your left hand. And I was just like, what do you mean not your and then I saw an improv show. I used to do improv back in the day. Well, I still do, whatever. But
it's okay. You don't have to be ashamed of it. It's a perfectly healthy art form that some people enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ashamed of it. I just
some people enjoy
I was like,
it.
oh, back in the day, I used to do it, when in fact, like I would do it tomorrow if someone booked me. But my friend Sine, someone tried to shake her hand on stage, and she was like, don't left hand me. Don't give me that. And she said, don't give me that poop hand. And I was just like, what in the world?
You're not, it's only okay if I say
it. That's his poop hand.
That's my poop hand.
Wait, have you heard that before? Boy, have you heard it referred to as a poop hand?
No, but I know people don't like it when you go to shake with your left. I've had to condition myself that I naturally just shake with the right, which is uncomfortable for me, and maybe my grip isn't strong. So yeah, you caught me on an off day, and you popped my knuckle a little bit. I'm not a bitch. I'm just not used to that hand. But yeah, people don't like it if you come in to shake with your left. They get all...
Yeah, I've always, at least from and again, I'm right-handed, so maybe some of this is just like being ignorant to it. I always presumed that was just an American thing. That like we had all agreed right hand is the way you shake, and nobody would ever dare shake with their left.
I mean, I haven't touched a lot of foreigners physically, but I think that's worldwide.
It sounds right. Maybe some of this research will help clear it up, but it definitely sounds...
What do the books say?
Well, I'll tell you this. Apparently, the word sinister, we all know to be a word meaning evil, bad, demonic of sorts, those kinds of things. It actually, the Latin word, it comes from a Latin word meaning on the left side. That's the original definition of the Latin word that sinister comes from. So it's not starting great for you, big dog.
No, and it's like, it's not just me. We're a third of the population.
Is it a third? Is that statistically?
No, I was like.
Yeah, that seems real high.
Yeah, as soon as I said it, I was like, yo, you're wilding. I feel like it's probably like 6%. It's not very common.
No, it's pretty uncommon. And some suggest, and it sort of goes back to what you were saying earlier, Maggie, about the associations, right? That some of the reasons these associations have been considered bad is largely because of how dominant right-handed people have been in society. So it's much more convenient for a society at large to be like, hey, everybody do the same thing the way we're doing it, than to embrace the possibility that, like, yeah, maybe your hand could do a different thing.
I mean, we even have the nerve to call it the right hand. You know, and then the other one's just left, like shit went left.
I love.
Well,
it's got Hotepi tones to it. I like what you're doing here.
My question, first of all, I hear you. I overstand. My question is, what came first? The idea, the word right being of correct, meaning like correct and virtuous, or the term right as a direction?
And I think that's a legitimate question. What I will tell you is that historically, there have been both periods of high shaming and high embrace of left-handed people. That, like, actually the ancient Celts, you know, back before they were Celts and shit, the Celts associated they associated the left hand with like femininity and sort of like what did they say? The fertile womb. That, like, it was like a beautiful thing to be left-handed.
Talk to my face like that about me?
Yeah. They said you were a gorgeous lady if you were left-handed.
You saying I have a big womb?
You got a big old, heavy, healthy womb.
Childbearing womb.
Why is it, what I don't understand is, why is it masculine or feminine? Everybody has left hands.
Yes, they do. Well, that's not true. Some people don't have left hands. Most people have left hands.
And if you don't have a left hand, you have a left foot.
That's also not true. I think you could be missing whole sides here.
You gotta left something. Everybody's got something on the left side they can move.
But I think to your larger point, that these sort of weird associations or correlations are one that they feel odd. For example, the ancient Greeks believed men were associated with the right and women were associated with the left. And in fact, fathers used to, they believed that men were the product of the right testicle and that women were the product of the left testicle, meaning that the sperm that came out of the right testicle produced a man and the sperm that came out of the left testicle produced a woman. And they went so far, this is the craziest part, they went so far as to tie off the preferred testicle, or rather the testicle they didn't prefer, to make sure that the nut came out of the side they wanted. As a woman, I assume you have thoughts. I don't know.
All of it's just the wild shit people used to do before Google. You know, just the wild stories people used to make up for themselves and just be like, oh, okay, let me put a rubber band around your nuts so we can have a girl.
I think, and that's also the part that makes me think that this is where some of the bigotry relating to left-handed people starts to be built, because I can't presume that they were often tying off their right nut, preferring a girl. I think that if you are noticing the difference between nut, you're more than likely saying, well, I want the boy and I'm going to tie off my left nut to shame women and separate girls from my home.
Now, Langston, as a father, can you speak to the validity of any of this?
I will say that I have a daughter, and my left nut seems to be working pretty strong. So I'm going to presume she's a left nut baby, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my left nut baby.
No, hashtag girl dad for sure.
Yeah, hashtag left nut dad. I pray to God that this episode gets archived and she gets to hear this as soon as possible. Let's get this right in at the developmental stage, you know?
She needs to feel like she knows where she came from. You gotta know your roots.
Right after in 7th grade, like when they learn about health and like where babies come from that day. Like, okay, I know you learned some stuff during school, but look where you really came from.
Oh no, you're missing what I would like. I would like for her to be learning in health class, and then for the health teacher to be like, and now we have a snippet from your father's podcast in which he clarifies exactly where you came from, and then boom, left nut theory.
She's gonna be She's going to be one of those kids who tells everybody the wrong stuff and they just believe it. This kid at the Boys and Girls Club told me that girls pee out of their butt, and I believed it till I was like 13. And I think
he doesn't need to be out here spreading our business, but
yeah, calm down, big dog.
Ma'am, I've seen the videos on the internet. That is not where it comes from. Not on purpose. Not on purpose, but I click around. I'm an adventurer, and
sure. You're not a coward.
Yeah. I stand up to oppression and tyranny.
So interestingly, and this continues to be positive in relation to left-handedness, and don't worry, we'll get to the negative. But interestingly, in terms of the positive, research shows that parents, and specifically women, are more likely to carry their children on the left side of their body. And this physical touch of holding their kids on the left side actually it's called something called lateralization, where the right side of the brain is activated from the left side's physical touch. And the right side of the brain is responsible for language and interpreting emotional signals. So it makes it so you're able to be a more attentive, affectionate parent by holding your child on the left side and using your right brain. That's what's being suggested in the research.
See, I don't think that's why. I think people hold their babies on their left hand because most people are right-handed and they want the hand free to eat or to like swat things away or to write something down or to make a phone call. Like, you can't really do that easily with your left hand if you've got a baby in it.
So you think
if you've got a baby in the right.
This is just people being selfish and wanting to keep their day going and not be slowed down by these dumbass babies.
Exactly.
Now, what does it mean? I'm African. I was held on her back. What does that mean for me?
We did that too. That's what we did.
That means I'm a generous lover and will be 6 feet tall one day?
I think you're still growing. That's for sure what that means.
Tell the audience.
The back slows down growth, and you'll definitely hit 6 feet. And I think it means your mom was a busy lady who needed both her hands to
she had stuff
going.
to do. And when you put a baby on you, they fall right asleep.
Yeah.
all my earliest memories are like me like waking up on my mom's back, like, oh, we're in the laundromat.
Because they put you in like real tight. Get you nice snug,
I remember it. She puts you on there, and then she takes a blanket and she wraps the whole thing around tight.
And then
it's like a baby Bjorn, but you don't look like a fucking douchebag.
That's exactly what it
is. Is that how a lot of African cultures look at the way Americans are carrying their babies? That we just look like douchebags holding our babies in the front and on the sides?
Yeah, you look insane.
Whoa.
You didn't think that?
No, I didn't know y'all were like, if you ain't Dora exploring your kid, you're a fucking idiot.
Why would you put Baby Bjorn is the most white nonsense ever. Why would you put the kid in the front? That's not even safe. What if you're attacked?
What if you're attacked from the back? You can't see it coming.
Oh, how many times have you been attacked from the back?
I would argue most of the time.
Also, you got a baby on your back. You put your back to the wall. Now you can you know what I'm saying? You pivot. You pivot. Your baby's on the front. That baby's exposed.
Fuck.
That little white baby is exposed.
Yeah.
What if you trip?
I didn't put myself in Tom Cruise scenarios when I was thinking about the placement. And to your point, that is fair. If I'm ever in a situation where I'm being attacked by, it seems like multiple ninjas, I would like to be able to get my baby back to the wall and fight them off.
In the front seems crazy.
It looks weird. It looks like the baby's just dangling there. It looks like the baby is controlling you.
Yeah. Wow. It looks stupid.
As a person who's been walking around with my baby like Krang from the Ninja Turtles this entire time, I am feeling a little embarrassed that you guys are so emphatic about this.
Yeah, you should flip it to the back.
Yeah.
Flip it to the back.
Just spin that baby around.
Honestly, once they get toddler size, put them in the backpack. You just leave the air hole open. Pop out, look around.
I don't know if that's how that's what babies are made for, and I certainly don't think that works. Or certainly the backpacks are going to be able to hold them up. But I hear you.
I mean, they're not made to fucking sit on your chest like a goddamn necklace, like a Jesus piece.
Just a cheap necklace.
Yeah.
Flesh.
Fair enough.
Not even gold.
A lot of points are being made. They're all hurting my feelings, but I hear you. Let's get into, before we go to break, let's get into some of the negative connotations of the left hand. Apparently, the left carries associations of immorality, primarily in Christian teachings. That Christianity teaches us that the left hand is immoral. And specifically, this part was pretty devastating. From the book of Matthew, in reference to the last day of judgment, it says, "He shall separate all nations one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels."
All I hear from that is that I'm a hot boy.
I think that phrase was the inspiration to Beyonce's "To the Left, to the Left." Because she could have said "to the right," like, get
What
your
a
shit out of the
bitch.
right.
I never thought about it.
She's like, "To the left, get your poop hand shit
Yeah.
to the left and out of my house."
Everybody's
this.
associating you to the left.
Mm-hmm.
But also, why are we goats?
It's not great. You got.
I think goats are hellish. Don't they have like a...
Goats are the greatest of all time.
Yeah, that's what LL Cool J started. But up before then, it was pretty consistently devil dogs, I think.
Oh, it's because of their eyes. They do have devilish eyes.
They got them square eyes.
Yeah. I don't like that either.
Yeah,
And they eat trash, right?
They can eat pretty much anything.
Like they'll eat like a tin can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good for them, but I do think they're capable of it.
I hate this. I mean, listen, and also that's in Matthew, right? It was in Matthew, the book of Matthew?
Yeah, it was in Matthew.
He said a lot of things.
Tell me another thing you said.
Didn't he? Isn't he the one who had the vision where all the unclean animals were on it? And then God was like, take and eat. And then they were like, oh, the covenant is broken. Now we can eat pork. That was in Matthew. Right?
I don't know. I truly was just hoping you had no idea.
You thought I was a fucking dickhead. You thought I was a left-handed poop boy.
So I should note for anybody that's worried that this is strictly a Christian thing, it is not. Apparently, these same sentiments appear in Jewish texts, a few Middle Eastern books, and some African cultures as well. So this is not isolated to just Christian ritual and shit. This is literally everywhere.
I hate that. Which Africans say it?
They weren't specific, which is always a problem for me with these things where they go like in all of Africa. And it's like, I don't know, big dog. That seems pretty unfair.
There is so much of Africa.
Y'all get real specific when it comes to Lithuania, but then you get real fucking vague when it comes to Africa.
We got to know where fucking Nantucket is.
Yeah.
Well, there's some people in Nigeria saying it.
Damn.
There's some people in Nigeria, no offense, saying a lot of wild stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of princes.
Yeah.
A lot of scams.
Well, I mean, the prince thing is like, it's kind of like there's like a lot of people who are princes and like a lot of people who are princesses. Like, I'm a princess on both sides, like, but it doesn't mean really anything.
God,
are you a princess?
Sucks.
Are we speaking to royalty right now?
Both sides.
Whoa.
You're a double-sided princess?
Both
God
sides.
damn.
What is that?
But I mean, that and a nickel gets me nickel soup.
Damn.
All right.
There's nothing you can like, you can't get a cow. There's nothing you can get from that.
No, because it's all like tribal stuff, you know? So it's like, you know, I don't have any authority or anything.
My family is the worst at tribes. We have no status in the Kono tribe. We had nobody.
Fuck.
Yeah. You're a double princess. We're just we got some rice patties. We got some land. Damn, that hurts.
This podcast has seemed to only divide us as a group. We went into this and we all liked each other.
Yeah, we started out friends.
And now you're a serf somehow. And
yeah.
Now I can't talk to y'all.
Yeah. I'm sinister.
It's all bad. They say we was kings, but we was friends once. And now look at us.
Yeah. This is all because of the left hand. You know who I blame? The Christians.
The Christians is a good place to point your frustrations, that's for sure.
Apparently also the Jews and some of the Africans as well.
You got to point at a little bit of everybody, but they're all there.
Yeah.
One of those sweeping.
All right.
Mad at y'all.
We're mad at all y'all. We're going to take one more break. We'll be back with more Maggie Maye and more My Mama Told Me. And we are back.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the beast.
Yeah, we're back here with more Maggie Maye, more My Mama Told Me. We're still talking about the possibility that the left hand is bad, that it is sinister, demonic even. This is what the Christians are telling us. David is upset about it. Maggie is largely indifferent. She thinks this is all foolishness. We're piecing it together as we go. Is that a fair way to encapsulate what's been happening?
I think that was a beautiful synopsis, Langston.
Thank you so much. I do want to dig into the rest of this research because I think it only becomes more painful as we go along. There was this dude, apparently, E.W. Lane, who wrote in his book in 1836 an account of the manners and customs of modern Egyptians. He said it is a rule with the Muslims to honor the right hand above the left, to use the right hand for all honorable purposes, and the left for actions which, though necessary, are unclean, which feels like it connects back to that poop conversation that we were having earlier.
Honestly, if I think about all the things I do with my left hand, that one does check out.
Unclean shit.
Yeah.
Necessary, but unclean.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets, I guess, more unkind to left-handed people, and specifically gives us a little bit more history in terms of the propaganda around it. In the 19th century, for instance, a French sociologist, this dude, Robert Hertz, noted that in his travels to southern Africa, Zulu tribes would pour boiling water into a hole and then place a child's left hand into it, scalding the hand and preventing its use. There were boiling hands, baby, just to keep you from being left-handed.
So how's that baby supposed to wipe his ass with that boiled left hand?
I think you wrap some leaves around the nub and you go to town.
I don't even know what to say about that. All I'm saying is, has this been corroborated by multiple sources?
Well, this was in 18 something, or the 19th century. So yeah, 18 something. I don't imagine that it wasn't cooked in with a shit ton of bigotry, where he maybe saw one weirdo pour boiling water into a hole and do it, and then was like, God damn, these Africans are wild.
Because from what I know of the Zulus, of Shaka Zulu, right?
That's who I know.
Very, very ambidextrous warrior people.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they weren't boiling their own hands, for sure.
That's an insane... You would die off, right? If you were doing dumb shit like that.
I don't think it's a great way to sustain the livelihood of your nation.
No.
Especially, wasn't that billed as a warrior nation? Because I remember when I was a kid, Shaka Zulu seemed like he could kick everybody's ass. Mm-hmm. But then it's if you're a warrior, why would you want to have one less hand than the person that you're fighting?
Maybe my only thing I could see is, you know how they claimed that, was it the Amazons cut off one titty?
Oh.
But so you can't hit anybody with your titty. Okay, your titty is dead weight.
You can't.
Agree to disagree on that one, Maggie. I've also been on the internet, and I've seen it happen.
Okay, if I cut off one of my titties, ain't shit happening with this A cup. I'm not hurting anybody.
No,
I'm
no,
not killing anyone or causing any damage with this itty bitty titty. And
they didn't cut off the titty to use them as weapons.
Mm-mm.
They cut it for archery so they could draw true.
oh, okay.
You thought they were making like titty bombs.
I just thought it was hazing. I was like, what are you guys trying to prove?
No.
Like, you're so hard, I cut my titty off? Like,
it was
that's a bad
truly more
bitch.
of an act of functionality.
That'd be a bad day, the day you saw a titty get cut off.
Oh man, you're not gonna. Yeah, you can't like go to work after that and be at peace.
No.
What if they cut off the wrong titty and you still can't archery?
Oh,
You can't do archery.
they're
Well, then
demanding that you do right-handed archery, but you're left-handed.
Yeah. Oh.
And then you fuck around and accidentally shoot it into the sky. It comes through your skull, and they're like, see, that left-handed person was unlucky.
Fuck.
Shit. I think now we're getting to the bottom of it.
So let's keep going in some of these wild cultural choices. During the Spanish Inquisition, the Catholic Church would condemn and occasionally execute those who were left-handed.
Under the what was the reasoning?
I believe just referencing that one Matthew verse where they're like, hey, on the left side, you left-handed, you the devil, you dead.
But doesn't God love sinners?
I don't know if he
And
loves them as much as he tolerates them if they get their shit together.
I think that is the opposite of what the gospel is, Langston.
I don't know.
I don't think. And all sin is equal.
So you think? Let's just be clear. You think God is seeing?
I think.
You think God is seeing these sinners and he's like, "Fuck yeah, another one." You think that's where God is in this?
I think God wants us all to do the same. Everyone sins. No one is immune from sin, and all sin is equal in the eyes of the Lord. So my left hand is the same as you doing whatever nastiness you do on the right.
Damn.
See, but there's also this Bible verse about giving where it's like, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
Whoa.
So they were just like, we're going to really make sure this left hand can't. We're going to cut it off and
They
throw
hit
it
it
into
a
the lake
couple
or something.
times, and that's enough for the Catholic Church to kill you.
Yeah.
Damn.
They're just looking for a reason, I feel like. Especially back then, they were just looking for any reason to just be able to, like, chop some heads off.
And to that point, I think that's a fair one. In fact, during the Salem witch trials, that was also a reason for you to potentially be burned at the stake was being left-handed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry that this is happening
it's fine.
to you.
You didn't do it. You didn't do it. You didn't do it.
So here's where things get even crazier, because at some point science got involved, right? Up to this point, we're sort of like, we're following religious texts and we're listening to sort of like the religious leaders. But at some point science got involved and then connected left-handedness with mental deficiencies.
That's not true.
I swear to God. Apparently there was this
sorry,
dude.
I'm going crazy.
They basically were trying to say, like, look, it's not their fault that they're this way. Their brains don't work the way that they're supposed to. In fact, there was this dude, what's his name? Cesare Lombroso, the father of criminology, as he's sort of known, once wrote, when man advances in civilization and culture, he shows an always greater right-sidedness as compared to women and savage races, who even when they are properly left-handed, have certain gestures and movements which are a species of left-handedness.
Well, I'm going to be over here with the women and the savages. Which is always where I wanted to be.
It turns into a real racist and sort of like anti-woman thing after a while. In fact, there are other texts. This is maybe the most damning of them. Oh no, I don't have it anymore. But they basically became throughout history a major race issue, and then people started suggesting that the left was proof of Negro inadequacy. That basically anytime you saw a person using the left hand, they were often associating left hand with black people and sort of like the failures of black movements and shit.
See, I'm left-handed and I'm black excellence.
I love that you feel that way. Yeah.
My brother, my left hand.
I hate that you qualified it that way.
Like my left-handed brother is the smartest out of all of us. Like he's just so like he used to read, ask for Tom Clancy novels in like the 5th grade to read for fun. Like that's what he wanted for Christmas. It was ridiculous. Like he's a lawyer now and he's like super smart, just knows everything. He could pick up instruments in a day if he wants to. Like
no, we're very similar in that way. I was also reading Clancy Young.
I will say that the last piece of information I'll give you guys is that it is now more or less understood that there is absolutely no difference between left and right-handed people, that we are all the same. But still, despite that, there are plenty of nations that still work pretty hard around the world to train their left-handed children out of that behavior. It is not a thing lost in time. It is, in fact, a thing that's currently happening across the world.
I hate that.
I'm sorry, man.
They tried to do it to me. They tried to block my light.
Yeah, but you fought through that. You and Maggie's brother, you guys both fought to the other side, and look at you now, reading Tom Clancy.
Look at us now. We're some Clancy reading, fucking pillars of black excellence.
Hell yeah.
I don't care what Langston thinks.
It's a beautiful journey you've been through. And I'm glad that we did it together. Maggie, this was lovely. Could you tell the people at home where they could find you and what cool shit you have going on?
Sure. I'm on all of the socials at Maggie Maye, haha. Maye is spelled M-A-Y-E. And let's see, I'm going to be later this week up in the Bay Area doing a nice little festival, little fun little thing in a little town in the Bay Area, doing a few shows here and there. So
you don't have a name for it?
It's called the Mill Valley. The city is Mill Valley, and they put on like a nice little festival, I think once a month, and they'll have like it's an outdoor thing. There's like all kinds of stuff, and it I think culminates with a comedy show that they have like every month, and apparently it's really fun. They have people that come like every single time, so I'm really excited about going.
Fuck yeah.
Mill Valley, get some wine.
That's what they've told me that they've got up here. They're like, we've got dinner for you and we got great wine. So I was like, shoot. Perfect.
Well, there it is. Go follow Maggie on the socials and go to Mill Valley and get drunk and watch her perform comedy. She's great. And as always, Bori, please.
No, I don't know what you were. I'm sorry, I don't know what you were kicking to me for.
Oh, if you got to plug yourself, man, you got to tell the people where they can find you and what shit you got going on.
Yeah, July 21st through 23rd, I'm at the Washington, D.C. Improv Lab because I don't sell a lot of tickets. Come fuck with me there. And July 12th through 16th, I'll be at the Rumors Comedy Club in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I assume this has a large Canadian audience. And other than that, just hug your loved ones.
Hug your loved ones, please. That's what's most important. And as always, you can follow me at Langston Kerman on all platforms. And if you want to send us drops, if you want to send us your own conspiracy theories, if you just want to send us hate mail, send it to mymommapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you or resent you afterwards. It's hard to know until we read it. Anyway, that's it. Bye, bitch.